It was a highly anticipated visit. Egypt's Abdel Fattah al-Sisi finally arrived in Downing Street on Thursday. But the Egyptian leader's trip started with unwelcome news that the UK had suspended all flights to and from Sharm el-Sheikh, a popular destination for holidaymakers. Outside Downing Street, hundreds of protesters gathered to denounce the visit. Their view that a man they hold responsible for killing thousands of civilians and arresting over 40,000 people should never have been invited to the UK.
We're saying very clearly that Sisi has committed crimes against humanity. He should not be welcome in Britain, and that he is a threat to security and stability in Egypt and elsewhere.
Some demonstrators, dressed in body bags and nooses, lay down outside the Prime Minister's residence, blocking the entrance. A symbolic protest to depict the hundreds sentenced to death and or killed since the 2013 coup. They were eventually forcibly removed and arrested by the police.
We have a brother and sister in Egypt. You're killing them every day.
The Egyptian embassy in London also mobilized people. On the other side of the road, those in support of Sisi gathered. Their message: the former general is the only man who can protect Egypt. Cameron has come under a lot of criticism for inviting Sisi. The head of the opposition in the UK said the visit showed contempt for human rights. It was no surprise then that this press conference was tightly controlled by Downing Street. Al Jazeera was not allowed to attend. Instead, we were forced to ask our questions from across the street as Sisi left.
Mr. Sisi, when are you going to release the 40,000 political prisoners? Mr. Sisi, when will you release the journalists in jail? Mr. Sisi, when will you release the political prisoners in Egypt? Mr. Sisi, why don't you want to answer these questions? Unfortunately, as you can see, the issue of human rights in Sisi's visit to the UK has not been at the forefront of that agenda. Rather, Prime Minister Cameron and Sisi have chosen to focus on security issues, trade issues and other things. And that's what's caused a lot of anger amongst a lot of people opposed to this visit.
David Cameron shouldn't have let Sisi walk out of the door number 10 without talking about human rights. They're key to regional security, and Egypt is waging a counter-terrorism campaign that doesn't differentiate between peaceful protesters and members of armed groups.
Sisi is expected to return to Cairo on Friday. He may view this trip as reinforcing his position as a statesman, but with protests like these taking place in many of the foreign capitals he's visited, opposition to his presidency is also clearly widespread. Jamal Al-Shayal, Al Jazeera, London.